People think that customers buy products, but I think that they buy meaning first. People want to feel something about what they buy. If you think about companies like Apple or Nike, the way that they market themselves is aspirational and what you can become if you use their product. On their main television commercials, on their main social media marketing, it's more about who you can be as a person by using their product than about the features themselves. The features are definitely a component of marketing at some level of the funnel, but it's more about creating the story of what you can be with the product as opposed to the features that the product has. Apple sells think different, be cutting edge, be the top of your creative field. Nike sells be the best that you can be athletically, be like these athletes. They sell aspiration, they sell effort, they sell personal achievement and hard work. And the features are more substantiating evidence. Secondly, stories reduce complexity. When people have a really short attention span scrolling online or just a fraction of a second paying attention to a commercial, you need to distill the main value proposition of what you're trying to sell down so that it's comprehensible immediately, like right away. And stories are able to do that because we can relate to a protagonist that's trying to overcome an obstacle to achieve a goal. And so mapping the concept of who you are as a brand onto a story, making it so that the people who use your products are the hero of the journey and they're going to overcome the obstacles that you've identified as part of that story is going to make your brand a more enticing one to become part of and to embrace and to ultimately buy from. An example that we have in our world in making videos for Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies, but also building campaigns around fast-growing startups that need to break into the marketplace. We work with a client called Wasabi Technologies. They're in the cloud storage space, and they're going up against competitors like Amazon and Google. So these huge behemoths. Cloud storage is not a sexy topic. It's complex, it's hard to understand, it's not really cool. And so we have to find a way to convey the value proposition in a really efficient manner. And so when we were first working with them, it was all about coming up with visual metaphors. They are faster than the competition. Can we come up with an idea that conveys that speed? They are more reliable than the competition. Can we create metaphors that make it seem like you're stupid if you don't go with them because they're so reliable? Those are the types of things that allow customers to understand the value proposition right away and be drawn into your ecosystem. That's an example of a B2B scenario. Obviously, Nike and Apple, which I referenced earlier, are B2C scenarios, but the ideas are largely the same. You're selling an idea, you're selling a story, you're selling something about what can this customer do because they have access to your product. And in Wasabi's case, they have clients that are going to space, building entertainment conglomerates, doing all sorts of crazy things, and it's all built on their technology. So it's about showing the aspirational elements of what they can become by using a technology that's faster and more reliable. And so for you as a brand, it's about what is the story that you want to tell that allows your customers to envision their outcomes. What can they become by using your service or product? Great brands make customers feel like they're joining something. The strongest brands create belonging. People want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and the story of your brand is a way to unify that community and get them to be excited about your product. And lastly, people remember beliefs more than they remember features. People remember how your brand and their experience with your brand made them feel versus the actual list of features that the product or service provides. And so the story of your brand needs to be one that gets people excited and leaves a lasting impact that's positive so that the customer wants to come back. Stories last and features fade and become outdated. And so you need to be building something larger than purely features to continue to grow and have success. I think people tell themselves that they make rational decisions, but they actually buy into the emotional experience of a story and then use features to justify those decisions after the fact. And so if as a brand, you can be telling a story, whether it's through content, through your customer experiences, through your successful client relationships that you've had in the past, that's all an effort to build a successful brand that will last into the future.